I started Elden Ring several months ago. This game was the introduction to my Souls game experience. I hadn't experienced the genre in any form, be that watched any videos or played any of the games. But as someone who was fairly new to video games several months ago, even, it captured so much of what gaming, or as what I would come to find out, gaming is. And while I talk about this, I'm going to be attempting to beat Melania, though I usually play with a controller. Now, I just got a new computer, so I'm on mouse and keyboard. I haven't been able to set up my controller yet. So as you can tell, I'm not doing great. But I wanted to talk about this because as someone who calls themselves a trash gamer, mainly because I haven't been playing games for too long, this really encapsulates my feelings for the game, is that losing in this is not something to be ashamed of, and that's made very clear from the first opponent you come across. Maybe not the Soldier of Godric, but you get the idea. As someone who died to Soldier of Godric twice while in a call with some more experienced Souls players, it was certainly, oh geez, an experience. Now, I don't recommend playing this game for the first time while in a call with people, as it really takes you out of the game itself. However, playing this playing this game playing this game has certainly allowed me to go about gaming as a whole in a completely other direction. Completely missed that. Okay. Now, as I said, I'm not exactly a veteran gamer, as I only started playing PC games in late 2020 when I got a PC to help me get through school. With the lockdown and everything, I ended up spending a lot of my time playing games like Minecraft and Among Us, which led me to meet some of the people that I still play games with today, who later convinced me to play Elden Ring, as well as a few other Souls games which I'm yet to get very far in. But Elden Ring has really been the defining game, aside from Hollow Knight, for me for the past few months since I started. My favorite boss throughout so far would have to be either Melania or Godric. I don't know why, I just really enjoyed those fights. I'm gonna say I did write a script for this video, but since I'm also fighting Melania, I'm not exactly following it to a T. I'll say though, not hating keyboard controls, though I don't know what the sprint button is. This game is beautiful. Looking around just where we are right now, the art, the combat, the music, everything about this game is gorgeous, including the way it makes you feel, the way it makes you hate how bad you are at games, and the triumph you get when you finally beat that one boss that's been taking up all of your time. Now, as a community, the longer I play this game, the more I've come to realize is that the community as a whole tends to downplay the difficulty of these games, despite how infamous the Souls-like genre is. Now, I'm not saying that because I want to get across that I'm complaining that Souls games, they're too hard for me, when in fact my favorite kind of gameplay is slamming my head into a wall until the wall crumbles or my skull caves in. Jeez. Well, I missed the waterfowl. When looking up Elden Ring and other Souls games on YouTube, you tend to see YouTubers or streamers who are challenge runners or speedrunners. And I love that content as much as the next person. I love seeing what wacky ways some of these people can beat these really hard challenges. But as speedrunning gained popularity in the 2020, with people like Dream getting very popular with Minecraft speedrunning, I think it's fundamentally taken away part of games. There was a several year gap in between my first proper game, which was playing PS3 games such as Lego Batman, or games like MX vs ATV Untamed. I find that with the uprising in speedrunning and challenge runs, it's taken away the peace that games bring, being that we're so focused on being the best rather than just experiencing the story that's been laid out for us and allowing ourselves to make a story in it of our own. And this is something I'm not free of myself, as I have been so focused on beating Melania before the time that my other friend beat Melania, even though I'm drastically overleveled for her. Hold on. That I just realized that there's snow in this area. At least I think that's snow. Could be rot. Oh, jeez. But the point I'm trying to get across here is that games have become so competitive when they don't need to be, that it's fundamentally harming the communities. Like Elden Ring, if someone picks up this game and even gets to Melania, not trying to toot my own horn here, but I think that's quite an accomplishment. These games are daunting, looking at them from the outside. I've had Bloodborne and Sekiro and Lies of P in my Steam library for a few months now, and I want to play them, but I'm scared that they will be too hard for me. And that is something I want to work to get away from. As when we played games as a kid, we weren't scared to get left on the same challenge for several months at a time, or even years. Some of the games that I got stuck on myself were games like The Force Unleashed, which isn't exactly a difficult game. I went back to it years later and ended up beating it. And it was then that I realized my problem with that game was I couldn't see the level. The TV that I was playing on when I was little, it was too old to see what all the details that you needed to see to do the platforming. And you quit the game over that, but you go back to the game years later to realize the game's great. And that is something I think we should bring back, is that we're too scared to make mistakes in games now. There's no, at least that I've come across, there's no top gamers that are bad or average at video games. I call myself a trash gamer, but I'm more average than anything else, I'd assume. It's just that everyone we're surrounded with in this is spending all of their time. Every person you see playing games spends all of their time playing games. They're professionals for a reason. But we don't have to be. We can just play the game and enjoy playing the game. See, doing this I'm gonna lose the lead that was so important to me a few months ago, in that I was further ahead than my other friend. But what does that actually matter? As long as I beat the game and have fun doing it, challenges and all that are fun. Jeez, I don't know how to dodge waterfowl on keyboard. Say that like I can dodge it well on a controller either. But the core element of this is that we need to sit down and slowly play games, not to rush through them. And Elden Ring is a great example of that, in my opinion, is that this game is difficult. It is very, very difficult. There's a reason, like, everyone dies to the first boss, that is considered a scripted loss. You're not supposed to beat that. You're supposed to die. And that's nothing to be ashamed of. We go back to that spot later and manhandle that. And even if you don't, that's fine too. It is fine to be bad at games and share your experience. We don't need to go around flexing on other people that we beat the game faster or better or anything like that. We can just play the game and have fun. I'll scroll up when I got a chance. Because that feeling of grinding out a game or a boss rather than cheesing that one guy you just can't get past is so much better than if like for Melania, for example, I'm doing all of this with 2 swords. And sure, I might get tired of doing this and switch to, say, a few spells and other things. But until then, until I'm tired of dying, I'm gonna do this with my own challenge. I'm not trying to cheese a boss that they put so much effort into creating. And the point stands the same with this video. I was so worried about making this the best I could. You can hear me stutter in this. The stutter is a part of me. That voice crack right there, that barely happened, but I'm pointing out anyways, because why else? This is me. And that is fine. That's what makes this game, this experience, mine. Is that no one is going to have the same experience that you did in these games, despite there being a set story. Oh, jeez. Now, Elden Ring, as someone who never really played games before, is fantastic. If you haven't played it and you're scared to, or you have any inkling of doing it, just play the game. It's fantastic. You're gonna die. You're gonna lose a lot. You're gonna get frustrated. And that's intentional. You're supposed to. And it's okay to do that and show your friends. It's like, yeah, I've already spent like 35 hours on Melania. I'm not ashamed to say that. Melania is hard. So is every other boss. Hollow Knight is one of my favorite games. And the Path of Pain and the Pantheons, though I'm only on Pantheon 4, are my favorite parts of that game. I don't know where the sprint button is. At worst, if you get this game and don't like it, you've wasted, what is it, $90? And sure, that is a loss, but compare that to this possibly being your favorite game. I think that's worth the risk. Now, Elden Ring, if I were to give a rating from someone who doesn't play games very often, is a 9 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10 only because no game can be. This is the best I think games can get. Now, my opinion might change over time, and that's fine. That should happen. After this, I plan on sharing a bit more of my experience with harder games. I have several games lined up, like Sekiro and Lies of P. And some people might not find those games hard, but other people might. And I think if you even get close to beating them, or even if you play them, that's an achievement in and of itself. And I don't think we need to go around devaluing everyone else's experience in order to prop up our own. I may feel alone in this way, but maybe not either. I'm not going to stop playing difficult games. I'm not going to stop playing easy games. As a trash gamer, or more like an average gamer, I am just saying that games are not meant to be blown through all the time. That it is okay to be average at these games and share your experience. I love these games. I love the little details in the walls. And I love how stupid I look right now. I wish I could show my loadout, but I don't know the button for that either. Now, thank you for listening to this rambling nonsense. I frankly probably should have made a better script to get my point across more clearly, but I feel that would have devalued it for me. And at the end of the day, if it devalues it for you and no one else, that's what's important. If something you're doing is ruining the game for you, then don't do it. Doesn't matter what anyone else has to say about it. You can just play the game how you want to. If you want to run through the game and cheese them, that's fine. If you want to use a bunch of spells, that's fine. We just need to stop shaming people for how they play these games. Like, oh, you used... I'm trying to think of something. You used spell A to beat Melania or Radagon, or sorry, Radon. Or Radagon. If you fought Radagon, good job. And tell me where to find that fight. That's fine. The point, we can all share our experiences with games, any games, and have them be valid. The internet is so big, but we often forget that it is also really, really small for most of us, like myself. This video that I'm gonna post here in like 20 minutes probably is gonna, maybe 2 people at most is gonna see this. And that is good. People shouldn't see this. Unless I don't have a point. See? This isn't polished. There is nothing else to this. I'm really dragging this on. And thanks for listening to my rant. Play games, have fun with them, be a trash gamer. Thank you for listening. And good night. I have to Alt-Tab here. What's up? And looking back at this through editing, I might do a more polished version of this video just to get my point better across better. But I'm still going to post this, as I think this is an important step for that. Thank you for watching. Good night.